Would you rather come back, get a good night's sleep, and be ready to go in the morning? And most of the times, when we've stayed up all night, when we did that when we were a bit younger, we would pay for that the next day.
Right. It's a good thing we didn't have Oura rings back then.
That's true. Hello and welcome to Intentional Leadership. On today's episode, we want to talk about a problem that comes up a lot for entrepreneurs, and that's getting sick either during or after travel. And this is just becoming, it seems like, more and more common. I think as a driven entrepreneur, you're working a lot, you're putting it all in, and sometimes not making yourself a priority, and you get sick. And then that ends up really taking you back a step.
Right. We're on the road, we're traveling, planes, trains, automobiles, and you're touching things, talking to different people, and it's just a different virus or sickness that your body's not used to.
Right. Yeah. Just in the last couple of weeks, we had 2 or 3 calls that we had set up that either had to be canceled or the people that were calling us were sick. One of my clients called up, and the minute that we got on the phone with them, I could hardly understand her. And I said, Tara, do you want to talk right now? Or, we can reschedule this call. And she said, no, I actually feel a lot better than I sound. But her and her husband had actually gone off to Hawaii. They were looking forward to a really fun trip there. They were going to do a little bit of work, but the main purpose was to be able to take some rest and rejuvenation time. And sure enough, within just a few days of getting there, one got sick and then the other got sick, and they were just miserable.
Right. And you get excited. You're ramped up, amped up, and you finish all this work. You're getting it all done, and then you finally relax and your body's like, I can calm down now.
Right.
And I can just kind of rejuvenate.
And sometimes the viruses come in because,
you expose yourself.
Right. And likely just pushing too hard, as I'm sure nobody listening can relate to that you don't know how to shut it off. Well, that's why we wanted to tackle this important topic today, because we've really learned some strategies and we're helping our entrepreneur clients with these, because you can't stop your traveling for work and obviously or for pleasure, but you want to make sure that you can travel well. So we want to give you some tips and tricks today to be able to stay healthy, especially while you travel, but hopefully throughout the year.
Right. And we're well traveled. We travel for work, we travel for fun, we travel to see family. And so here are some of the favorite things that we do, and hopefully they will help you.
Yes, definitely. Well, there's certainly preventative things that you can do, and we'll talk about that. We'll get to that. But
Don't travel.
Well, no.
Oh.
But where I wanted to start was just really taking care of yourself and boosting your immunity. And that's the tough part, I think, that we forget. And so I wanted to actually start there, and then we'll give you some preventative things too. But make yourself in the healthiest place that you can be year-round, and then your body is going to be ready to fight for you. You're not going to be in a lower immunity state. You're going to have high, strong resilience and high immunity, and that's going to help you stay better.
So I think if you focus on first just eating well.
On a regular basis, just eating well so you're fueling well. And I think a lot of us, as we travel, you're tending to grab things on the go and not eating healthy foods. And, just as an example, we had a big family event this last weekend, and we had a lot of rich foods that we don't typically eat, and we kind of splurged a little bit with some fattier foods and desserts and just wanting to try everything. And I did, and you did too. Yes, you did. Anyway, but what I was going to say is that I noticed, because I track how my body does with these things, that I didn't sleep as well, and that my temperature was up a little bit, and my heart rate was raised. So where I typically have a resting heart rate in the low 50s, it ended up being like several points higher, and that was directly related to the food that I had eaten the day before. So one of the things to just boost your immunity is, before you're traveling and as a lifestyle, be eating healthy as much as you can, not having those processed foods, really understanding what your body likes and what it doesn't like, because eating healthy things and really looking at, and we've said this before, looking at fueling your body it isn't just eating food to eat food. You're using that as a resource and as a fuel in order for you to be in your optimum health and perform at your best. So
Right.
food's important.
Well, and that's the pre-game warm up. But I just came back. I was gone for 2 or 3 days, and my backpack was full of food that I had already prepared.
Right.
And so I had the nuts, I had some fruit with me, I had beef jerky, cans of tuna. I think those are the people that sit next to you on the plane's favorite food is when you pull out the can of tuna. I'm sure
I
that's
think
it.
you're being facetious right now.
Anyway, but yeah, so I had planned for my travels.
Right.
And when I get there, I had Instacart delivered to the hotel.
Oh, smart.
And so now I have all the foods I need. And did I want to go out and have a cheeseburger and a beer with the guys? Yeah, I did. And I did, but I didn't eat the cheeseburger.
Oh, perfect.
And I didn't have the beer.
Right.
I had water and a steak instead, but I had already just had enough food that it didn't draw me into those things.
That's good. And another immune booster to go with that you should be doing all the time, but especially while you travel, is you're eating healthy food. And then another thing is really getting the restorative sleep that you need, because sleep, really more than anything else, right along with food, it's right up there that if you're getting good quality sleep, you know what that's doing, my friend, is that is repairing your cells, and it's helping to just repair and rejuvenate overnight while you're sleeping. While you're doing nothing at all, your body's repairing itself, it's protecting itself. So it's setting you up for success if you're getting good sleep on a regular basis. And then you've got to get good sleep while you travel. So how do you do that with conferences and meetings and things like that? What are some things that we can recommend?
I'm terrible because I have a TV in my room and I have nothing better to do. No one's around. And so I just turn on the TV. So I'm probably the wrong person to ask because I don't watch TV normally. And I watch like cooking shows. So I decided I should go on a show.
Did that keep you up when you were
Totally.
watching?
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
yeah,
horrible. So-
right.
Because I don't do it normally. And so all of a sudden my mind is spinning. And so
That's a good point. So keeping those healthy habits. I mean, we don't have a television in the bedroom just for that reason, because it's that blue light, that stimulation that you don't want. You want your bedroom to be a sanctuary. So don't follow his advice on that, or listen to the advice, which was that
the reverse advice.
reverse advice. So not a good idea to watch TV right before bed. It completely woke you up.
Right.
Right. So that's not good. So making sure that you're creating as much as you possibly can that sanctuary in your hotel room that you perhaps have at home. So things like, oftentimes the hotels do have the blackout shades, but being prepared by maybe having a sleep mask that you take with you, earplugs that you can take with you. Those things can help turning the temperature down in the hotel room to a nice cool level. And if you've trained your body to like sleeping at a certain temperature, we're turning our heat down to about 65. And so if you sleep well at home in that cooler temperature, then make sure that you're checking your hotel room temperature and turning that down, or wherever you're staying.
Right.
That certainly makes a difference.
And you bring a silk pillowcase with you.
I
if It's
do.
more than just a couple of nights.
Right.
And so you do that. And the other thing is that you weren't with me. So I just piled up all the pillows from the thing against me. So it pretended that you were in the other half of the bed.
Oh, that's sweet.
So,
Oh, that's funny. That reminds me that one of my girlfriends traveled without her husband and just with a bunch of girls, which she doesn't typically do. And she has to have a certain pillow that she sleeps with. And she was telling me that she took her pillow along because she likes to have a pillow that she can like hang on to at night. And so she got so much teasing from the other gals. And in fact, one of them just said to her, "Girl, you're a lot." And I don't think that was a compliment, because she was bring your own pillow. But you know what? If that helps you sleep better, my friend, then by all means, bring your own pillow for better sleep.
well, and our grandson has like his little rabbit that he has to sleep with. Maybe she just didn't outgrow it.
Yeah, right. Something to snuggle. That's okay. That's okay. And then another thing about sleep to keep in mind is just your sleep routine. So not only having the right space for sleep that can give you optimum sleep, but also those healthy sleep hygiene habits where you're not going to bed at 2 o'clock in the morning, and that you actually have some time prepared in advance of, this is when I want to get to bed so that I can be fresh in the morning. And you know what? You're going to have to decide whether it's worth it to you to stay healthy and well, to actually not stay out for that other nightcap or to go to the bar with friends and stay out really late. Would you rather come back, get a good night's sleep, and be ready to go in the morning? And most of the times, when we've stayed up all night, and when we did that when we were a bit younger, we would pay for that the next day.
Right. It's a good thing we didn't have Oura rings back then.
That's true. Yeah, it may make a difference. Well, I used to tell my team when we traveled together for conferences, I couldn't be their mother, but I could say, you know what, I don't care how late you stay up, but you will be in class for the morning bell. So if they wanted to come on the trip, to the conference, that I wasn't going to tell them what to do in the evening, but they were expected to show up for that first conference of the day.
Right.
And they did.
Yeah.
Not always at their best, but they did.
They were there.
Right.
And we, just the group of us that were hanging out this last conference that I went to, we sat around the fire and we were talking and strategizing, and it was just this invigorating conversation. And then, like clockwork, everybody just naturally said, gotta go to bed, gotta go to bed, gotta go to bed.
Great.
And it was 9:40. It's
nice.
Unheard of.
Nice.
And so, because we were all kind of in tune with that and wanted to get a good night's sleep and get a workout in the morning, which will lead us to our next one, but we were all gone before 10 o'clock.
That's good. And if you can have colleagues and friends that you're hanging out with who have similar values around wanting to really be your best self, wanting to perform at your best and stay healthy, then that makes it easy.
Right. Oh,
and
it's easy.
so that helps. But if you're with others and you have that peer pressure, that can be tougher. And that's where you have to make those choices for sure.
Right.
But I wanted to piggyback on what you were just saying, because you talked about sitting around the fire and having communication, just conversation together. And so think about those things that you're doing in the evening. I know what we do at home is we typically start winding down. We have that evening bookend where we wind down at the end of the day to get a good night's sleep. How can you do that when you're traveling? And versus, say, watching TV late at night, getting together with a few friends, sitting around a fire, having a good conversation. Those are great things to be able to wind down before bed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and fabricate them. If you're in the desert, go outside. If you're in Alaska and it's cold and snowy, maybe you don't go outside, you sit around a fire inside, but try and create that, that atmosphere of relaxation and just so that you're not watching TV or not out at the bar.
Right. You
have to be intentional.
Well, and I found too, and I think that this is true for most people, is a lot of the colleagues that we've talked to, because we ask these questions, is that working out late at night for most people takes away from a good night's sleep. So it's kind of that balance, because you want to be getting a good workout in. And so if you can't fit it anywhere else and you can do that in the evening, maybe you do it. But I know for myself, I can't be working out after dinner, and because that just gets me revved up and I can't sleep.
Right. And that leads me to one of the guys there, actually more than one, but one in particular was 12 hours off from his time zone.
Okay.
And he was struggling. But so what he would do is he would get up at 3:30 in the morning, kind of split the difference.
Okay.
Get his workout in. And it really entailed just a long walk for him at that point in time in the dark. And then he was able and ready for the day. And then, 9 o'clock, he crashed. So he was a little short on sleep, but he tried to split the difference between the 12 hours.
Oh, that's good.
So,
and time zone is a big factor. We probably should mention that to staying well. So some of the things that you can do if you're way off on a time zone to some place that you're traveling is get yourself moving, get that exercise is so important. Try to get yourself on that new time zone as quickly as you can. And even grounding yourself in the environment of where you're going. So if you go somewhere and you can get outside, you can get your feet on the earth, that can make just a huge difference to be able to get on that time zone. Getting yourself out in the sunlight, getting yourself to bed on that schedule rather than trying to stay on your old one.
That reminds me, there was a guy in the group. He's obsessed with sunshine, and he has it on some app on his phone.
Oh, really?
And it tells him how much daylight he's received in the day.
Oh.
And so he went out and he found an electric scooter, which, well, it's not for you, but he found an electric scooter and he was on it for an hour and a half cruising around so that he got enough sunshine.
Oh, wow.
And that was his activity, was just to get the daylight. He had already had his exercise. He had already done his thing, but
Well, sun is a natural healer, for sure, for sure. So some of those things, those are natural things to boost your immunity. And something else that you can add are some supplements, especially in flu season when you're traveling and you're really in close proximity to a lot of people who may be carrying different things, taking an immunity booster. I mean, for myself, I actually take something called Pure Defense with NAC, and that is a supplement that's a blend of a lot of immune building agents that really makes a difference. And my naturopath recommended it. She said that she has her kids even take one of them every day in flu and winter season. It's really made a difference. It keeps their family healthy.
Okay.
And I generally, because I follow these practices, stay healthy. We rarely get sick, but just based on her recommendation, because of the travel that we're doing, I started taking it on a regular basis. And I just take one a day since we're in a season where we've got a lot of kids around, grandkids, and they're carrying things from school and whatnot, that it's certainly made a difference for me. Good. And some of those supplements are to add, if you don't already have it in what you're doing, is making sure you're getting enough vitamin C, either through foods or having a supplement. Vitamin D, of course, is really good especially if you're not in an area where you get a lot of sunshine. If you get a lot of sunshine, you may not need it. Zinc is another, and this particular supplement actually has all three of those.
Oh,
so
good. What was it called?
It's called Pure Defense with NAC.
Defense. Okay.
But there's a lot of them out there that are really good. Just make sure it's something that's sourced well and that you can trust the brand, because you don't want to just be ordering your supplements from Amazon and just guessing and just thinking just because it says it's all natural and all of that it is. So just make sure you're checking that. So now let's talk about some preventative things that you can do while you're traveling. And one of them is just those basic procedures that your mom would tell you when you were growing up, and then we especially heard through pandemic, is just wash your hands.
Did my mom ever tell me that?
I would imagine that she did. I know mine did. Always before eating, and then I think that we kind of forgot about it. And then I think we all became a little crazy about our hygiene in the pandemic. And I guess that did reteach some good principles of just wash your hands
Sing happy birthday
on a regular basis. Exactly. Yeah. Wash your hands properly as you're traveling. I typically, when we're on a plane or train or automobile, I do have those sanitary wipes that I bring with me that I'll sanitize everything around me. Like, if you come on a plane, you don't know who's used the tray before. It's kind of like you don't know where that's been before. So why wouldn't you just take a moment and wipe that down? It's just something that I do.
And we did that. We've done that for a decade. It's nothing new.
Right. So that makes a difference. Yeah. And wear a mask. If you are not feeling well, if you've got a cold, wear your mask to help others. Or if you feel, and some people have autoimmune diseases and other things that just make them more susceptible to getting sick. Maybe you're going through something that you're actually fighting right now, and you have a lower immunity that you're trying to boost. In the meantime, wear a mask.
Or wear a mask because the person next to you is obnoxious, or you just know they're sick and you want to not be sick. You could, if somebody's sitting next to you hacking, just pull out your mask.
Right.
And protect yourself.
Right. That's true. That's a good point.
I thought about doing that this last trip.
We talked a little bit about exercise, but that's something I think that's super important when you're traveling to stay healthy, as much as you can get that regular movement in. Right. So you're eating healthy, bringing snacks and turning down the plain food. You're working hard to get that good night's sleep and keep that regular sleep hygiene, and then exercise.
Right. And getting outside and doing the exercise, like riding the scooter or going for the walk, going to the gym if that's what, at the hotel, if you're staying at a hotel, or get a day pass. We talk about that a lot. Just go get a day pass and get your workout in that way. Whatever it takes, just make sure that you're getting your sweat on and getting out there and doing something for your body and moving.
And I guess the top tip is kind of coming back to where we started. As a driven entrepreneur, you likely are pushing yourself way too hard. And if you can relate to the fact that when you finally slow down a little bit and you change up your routine, you go to a conference or you go on vacation, then you get sick or you come back and you're sick. That, my friend, is a sure sign that you're not giving yourself enough breaks, that you're not allowing your body the restoration that it needs to really be at its optimum performance and really being at your best. So if you can do anything at all from this, make sure that you have that work-life balance where you're taking time to actually slow down a little bit, get that rest that you need, get those restorative breaks. Don't just get up in the morning and go all day until you fall into bed at night. That is just setting you up for failure.
And I think we do that on a regular basis. We get wound up, and then we go on this vacation, and it just gives us a chance to unwind, and boom, now we're vulnerable.
Right. So these type of habits will help you travel well, but we want you to live well. We want you to live well all the time by putting these healthy habits in place, these success habits that will help you to perform at your best. And it will help you to stay healthy while you travel, but all year round. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you'll be the first to know when new episodes drop to really help you grow in your leadership and level up your life and your mindset.
Watch one of these other videos, share with a friend,